Now, how's a therapist a teacher? If you were going to cook, you'd want to get someone to teach you how to cook. If you want to play guitar, you want to get a teacher. If you want to learn biology or something like that, you would get a tutor. If you want to learn about how to figure out things about life, emotion regulation, relationships, social skills, it's best to get a teacher. One of the things that I hear all the time, or that people ask me all the time as a therapist, is I feel like I'm doing the same thing that everyone else is doing, getting the same result, but yet I feel like I'm working a little bit harder than everyone else is. That is a legitimate type of concern, and I'd like to demonstrate how a therapist can help with that with a simple example. Okay, so I've got my guitar here, and I just want to show you a little example. You feel like you are doing the same thing that everyone else is doing, but you feel like you're working just a little bit harder. You might be playing a song like this. Now, there's nothing wrong with that. Sounds good. If you're sitting around a fire, everyone would be going, hey, that's kind of cool. But what if I told you could play it like this? Now, what's the difference between those two? Same chords, same rhythm, hitting the strings probably about the same amount of times. But one just sounds more fluid, one more easier. Just something different about it. It just flows differently. And what I'm doing is I'm doing a strumming pattern where I'm going down with my fingers, down with the thumb, and then back up with the thumb. Now when you come back up with the thumb, you have to bring the other fingers up, because then it creates one fluid motion. Now that's different than if I'm doing it with a pick. It's just different. Now, after that example, you might go, but Cameron, it feels like in order to be able to play that well, I actually have to work a little bit harder. And the truth of the matter is, you're absolutely right. There is no therapist that is not going to give you some homework to do, to be able to practice some of those things. And I didn't get it right the first times as I'm trying those different types of strumming. And to be honest, my wife would get frustrated with me here and there because she said it sounded like a cheese grater as I'm just doing that over and over again and over and over again. But now I get no complaints from her or anybody else in my family. A therapist is going to give you some homework, give you some things to be able to try a little bit differently. And you're going to have to come back and report on how that's going, and then we'll make the tweaks that are necessary in order to make it fit you. Now, that's the same with social skills, emotional regulation, any type of thing that you're coming to a therapist about. What about your anxiety? What about your depression? What about your bipolar? What about your dyslexia? What about what other type of learning disabilities that you might have? I myself has an auditory processing disorder, and I have dysgraphia. Those are things that have not gone away, but I've learned the skills to be able to bridge the gaps, to be able to make sure that they don't interfere in my daily life. That is how a therapist is a teacher. Help you understand where you fit in that normal range, and to see if you're outside of it, how to get back into it. If you're in it, are you on the fringe? Let's get you more in the middle. So we help you know where you're at in the normal range, and we also help you understand how to get back, that there is hope, that you can do this. Well, that's all the time we have for our little session right now. I'll see you in the next video.